You don't need more followers. You need a better business model. A business can have attention, followers, traffic, content, and even a recognizable brand, and still struggle to make money because attention isn't the same thing as monetization. So, connecting back to assets, something that we spoke about in episode 3, an audience is an asset, but an audience isn't automatically a business. It doesn't automatically get you money. The problem for some creators isn't reach, it's that they've never built a mechanism or a process that turns attention into sustainable revenue. And this is exactly why I don't think every creator needs more followers. Sometimes you don't have an audience problem, you have a business problem. And it's seen everywhere on Instagram or on TikTok. Think about it. You'll see a lot of creators with maybe hundred thousands of followers, sometimes millions, 50,000 followers. But if you were to talk to them one on one, they tell you they aren't making no money. They're not making any money. They don't have a proper monetization plan set up. They try to go into digital assets. They're maybe selling a bit, but it's definitely just because you have an audience, a huge audience, it doesn't mean that creator is automatically making money. You see, social media has conditioned us to think followers, views, money. Followers equals views equals money. Get more followers, get more views, go viral, grow your audience. And eventually, money is supposed to appear from somewhere. Sometimes I see content creators just going viral without even trying to test a product with their audience or try to understand what is their audience actually looking for or what do they actually get from you. They just keep growing and to the point that they're like, okay, what's the point of this? It's a full-time job and I'm working for free. So again, like I said, attention is an asset. It isn't automatically a business model. So let's say somebody tells you, I have 100,000 followers. That's nice. The next question wouldn't be how to get to 200,000 followers. No. You want to know, who are these 100,000 people? Why do they follow you? That's actually a really good thing to think about. Why are they following you? What do they come for? What do they come to you for? Is it entertainment? Is it education? Is it inspiration? You got to write this stuff down. Do they trust you? That's actually a very big one, because if they don't trust you, they're not going to buy any product from you. Do they repeatedly come back? That's actually I would say it's a very good question, because let's say you have one account and their follower maybe comes back once every 4 months, but then you have another follower that checks onto your account maybe twice a day. That's pretty good, right? So you want to diagnose the account, try to get information from your followers. Do they have a shared problem or interest? If they have a shared problem, people pay for problem solvers. If it's a shared interest, maybe they're looking for a membership club, maybe they're looking to belong. And what can become possible, or what can you create for these 100,000 followers that are gathered at your account? Now check this out. 10,000 of the right people, 10,000, can be more valuable than 100,000 random people. So let's imagine 2 accounts. One account has 100,000 followers from viral entertainment content. The other has 10,000 people who are obsessed Let's say with specialty coffee in Toronto, which one's more valuable? See, from the outside, you think the account with 100,000 followers is more valuable. But we have to get to the nitty gritty before we decide. So, right now, there's no universal answer. But if I'm opening a specialty coffee shop in Toronto, that 10K audience would be extremely interesting. Why? Because the audience is concentrated or is focused around the interest, which is coffee shop, location, Toronto, and intent to purchase coffee in Toronto. Audience value isn't just about size, it's about concentration. Let me give you an example. I had, I think a long time ago, I had a gaming Instagram account. I think it had over 50,000 followers. Very engaged, very active. Majority of the posts were memes, funny posts related to gaming videos. It had a lot of content, and it was the perfect market, as in the perfect audience, I would say. Everyone on that account was a gamer, either casually, or they were a big streamer, or they also had a gaming account. But the thing is, it was an account that didn't have a proper business model. And going through different ideas of how to monetize this gaming account. We tried selling, well, so there was different audiences within the gaming account. So we also had people that liked gaming setups. So there's an audience of people that love the interior or would get inspiration of a gaming room, and the gaming room would have these specialty custom keyboards, a specialty custom setup, furniture, computer setup. There was another part of that account that were GTA gamers, or there were gamers that enjoyed the inside jokes of gaming, and there's a lot. But they weren't interested in really the setup because there's a certain portion of that audience that couldn't afford it. There's only a niche portion of that audience that could afford it. So what these guys were mainly into the jokes and the memes. Now, without a proper business model, how were we going to monetize an audience that was very niche? Some people would say, well, you could then sell gaming keyboards and certain setups. And yes, we tried doing that as an affiliate, as wholesale, and it's not as easy as you think. We tried to monetize the meme account. And meme accounts are very, I would say, they're interesting because when it comes to monetizing it, you have to be very creative. And we weren't able to figure what we could monetize in regards to the meme audience on that account. We were only able to monetize that very niche audience that could afford specialty setups. And it was like a very small portion. And mind you, these accounts need content. So you'd either have to contact other gamers, create your own setups. It was just so many moving parts for so little ROI. So I'm just giving you an example. When you have an account, make sure you have a plan, a business model, or a straight pathway to monetization. And also understand your audience, right? So the information I'm giving you about there's this audience, this audience, this audience. At least knowing the audience, I was able to do certain campaigns to target what would work. But if you don't know anything about your audience, it's going to be a nightmare because you're going to try so many different ideas, so many different things that you're based on your assumption, and you're going to waste months on assumptions when your audience is actually, I don't know, using your account for either entertainment or this specific piece of information in which you barely even put out or you haven't noticed. So definitely understanding your audience is the most important thing. So now, if you have an audience that is specifically related to your account, you understand what your audience wants, then now it's actually, and that is also engaging with your account. Now someone that has 2,000 or 5,000 followers doesn't automatically think, well, monetization doesn't apply to me. It absolutely can. So people automatically assume I build an audience, so now I need to sell something to my followers. Not necessarily. There could be another customer entirely. So there could be a completely different customer. So take a media company. I was actually speaking to one the other day, and their audience consumes their content for free. So their content is mainly, I would say, photos, videos, behind the scene footage of concerts, festivals, or certain artists coming into the city. In fact, when an artist, could be a big rapper, R&B artist, comes into the city, they call this specific media company, and it's an Instagram account, but it's still a media company. It's run by a small team to come out and either document and take footage of concerts, images, photos, images, whatever you have, be interviews, behind the scene footage of what's going on at the concert, so they could repost it and connect with their fans within that city. And sometimes they are invited before the concert to promote the concert. So let's say the artist lands, for example, today, and the concert's tomorrow, or the artist lands 2 days before the concert. They're already creating hype and more content for that artist, as well as to promote the upcoming concert. So if their customer consumes, or if their viewers consumes their content for free, and when a artist calls them out, mind you, they're not getting paid to come out and take photos of, I don't know, it could be Cardi B, it could be ASAP Rocky or whoever. Who is their customer? Well, their customer can be a sponsor. It could be an advertiser, a brand, an event partner, a business trying to reach that community, trying to connect that community and bring awareness to their brand. So sometimes, or in some cases, the audience doesn't necessarily equal, or the audience isn't necessarily the customer. Sometimes the audience is a part of what makes the business valuable to another customer. So before you monetize your audience, figure out who is actually willing to pay for the value that audience creates. So it will automatically change the question from what can I sell my followers to where is the value being created and who values it enough to pay. Now back to that media company that I was talking about. They're still figuring out, they understand what. So we're gonna kind of circle back to what I was talking about in the gaming, that gaming account, that example. So usually what happens is when creators get followers, then they realize they're not making money. Suddenly you see ebook, a course, merch, membership, consulting, paid community. Sometimes those things work, but sometimes you're doing exactly what we discussed in episode 1, solving the wrong problem. Just because you have an audience doesn't mean they want a course from you. And I think you guys have, if you're on social media, you have seen that everybody has a course, everybody has an ebook. It doesn't necessarily mean that your audience is looking for your course or your ebook. And this goes back to understanding your audience. If people followed someone because they make funny dog videos, that doesn't automatically mean those people want a $300 course about becoming a creator. You gotta you have to understand why your audience exists. So review your business, review your account, and draw a pipeline, starting with attention, relationship, value, transaction. You see, now, if I were looking at the media company business, I would literally map out what happens. So attention, how did they discover you? TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, Google, word of mouth. And think about this. I'm saying, where did they discover you? Doesn't it sound familiar? When you're on certain websites, these big companies, they want to know where or how you found them. Is it from a referral? Is it from Google? Because they're also studying where their audience is coming from. Relationship. Why do they stay? What makes them return? This is very important. If you could answer this question, you're already halfway there. Value. What are you actually providing? Is it information? Is it entertainment? Is it access, community, expertise, inspiration? Take your time and figure these things out. Transaction. Money part. Who pays whom? And what exactly are they paying for? If you can't answer the last question clearly, that's where I would start looking. Don't automatically assume you need more traffic. So if 100,000 people, I'm going back to that conversation or that point earlier, if 100,000 people aren't producing a sustainable business, I'm not convinced another 100,000 followers will automatically solve the problem. So let's think about a brick and mortar store. If 1,000 people walk through the store every day and nobody buys anything, would your first solution really be, we need 2,000 people? No. You'll probably ask, why isn't anyone buying anything? Maybe you'd go back to your buyer and your products and review what you have in store and if it's actually needed by your target market. And this is the same thing for websites. So websites say the same thing. We need more traffic. But what happens to the traffic, or what happens to the traffic you already have? If 10,000 people visit, nobody signs up, nobody contacts you, nobody downloads, nobody purchases, then traffic might not be your first bottleneck. You might have a conversion problem, offer problem, positioning problem, trust problem, audience mismatch. That actually happens a lot. Audience mismatch, a business model problem. So more isn't always the answer. You see, monetization has to make sense within the reason people start paying attention to you in the first place. So again, understand what made your audience valuable. Understand why people started to pay attention to you in the first place. So here's a little exercise you can do tonight. So if you have an audience, it could be 500 people, 5,000, 50,000, 500,000. Ask the simple question: who exactly is paying attention to me? Don't worry about the age or gender. Who are these people? Why are they here? What consistently makes them pay attention? Now, this is a good part. Who benefits from having access to this audience, right? So, going back to that media account on Instagram, it would be sponsors, partners that would benefit from having access to their audience, not necessarily the audience, because the audience is consuming the content for free, but a sponsor that could be connected within the content creation process of that media company with those artists can be the customer and can benefit a lot from it. So again, who benefits from having access to this audience? Could it be the audience? Could it be another business? Could it be both? And what can I offer without damaging the trust that I created with the audience? That one's actually a very important one. This is where I would start looking for the business model. So if you're building an audience right now, I would only ask, how do I get to... So if you're building an audience right now, I would not ask, how do I get an additional 10,000 followers? How do I get to 50,000, 100,000 followers? I would ask, what becomes possible because these people are here? Because followers are a metric. The relationship behind these followers are the actual asset. So again, growth isn't necessarily about getting more. Sometimes it's understanding what you already have and figuring out where the value actually sits. If you're building a business or a brand yourself, you could check out more of my work and my resources at deidrahunter.studio. I'll leave the link below. And if you like these kinds of business breakdowns, subscribe. I got a few more of these coming. Peace.